dear students, welcome back to your science classes. How are you all? I hope you all are healthy. So students, today we have chapter number 4, Animals Living and Surviving. So all of you, are you excited? Let's get started. But before starting this chapter, have a look on your learning objectives. First, habitats and adaptations. Next, types of animals on the basis of their habitat, terrestrial animals, animals of the desert, animals of the polar region, and burrowing animals, aquatic animals, amphibious animals, aerial animals, arboreal animals, adaptations and protections, protective body coverings, moving away from danger, living in the ground, blending with their surroundings, sharp claws, spines, and poisonous animals. So, we have to learn about a lot of animals and their categories and how they live in different habitat and what are their adaptations. So, all of you, are you ready? Let's move into it. So, first, habitat and adaptation. As we already discussed in a previous chapter, that habitat means your home. So animals also have their home, and as the plants have, right? So the surrounding in which the organisms, animals and plants lived are called habitat. The animals depend on their habitat for their food, water, air, shelter, and other needs. Animals, what we read here, that animals are found in many different places. The natural environment is well suited to them. If the environment in which they live is changed or they are removed from their natural habitat, they do not survive. For example, a fish lives in water. It cannot live outside water because it can only respire through gills in water. Similarly, a polar bear living in a snow-covered mountains or colder regions cannot survive in the desert heat. The presence of certain features or certain habits that enable an animal to live successfully in its surrounding, it's called adaptation. Different animals adapt to their surroundings in different ways. What we understand here, that habitat it's equal to your home. If the animals removed outside from their habitat, from their home, so they will not survive for a single minute. For example, a fish, their habitat is basically inside the water. If we take outside the fish, if we take outside, if we take fish outside the water, so what will result into, they cannot breathe because they breathe with the help of their gills inside the water. So what we understand here, that without whom they cannot survive. Next thing, the different features we have for a particular habitat. So for example, fish have some kind of features that they can only breathe inside the water with the help of gills. That is referred as your adaptation. The features animals have according to their home, that is referred as the adaptations. So different animals have different adaptations according to their habitat. Now, types of animals on the basis of their habitat. So according to their homes where they live, we classified these animals. So animals can be divided into the following groups on the basis of their habitat. The first group we have terrestrial, as we already discussed, it means land animals living on land. Next, we have aquatic animals, means living in water. Next, amphibious animals means living both on land and in water. So, amphibious animals living both on land as well as in water. Aerial means air, who spend most of their time flying in the air. And next we have arboreal animals, spend most of their time on trees. So these are the classification we have on the basis of the habitat of the animals. Now, first we are going to discuss about the terrestrial. First we have to discuss about the terrestrial plant. First we have to discuss about the terrestrial animals. Means those animals who live on the land, they are referred as terrestrial animals. So animals that live on land in holes or burrows below the surface of the earth are called terrestrial animals. Most of mammals are terrestrial animals. They move about on four legs. Their legs are suited for various movements like walking, running, leaping, jumping, climbing, galloping, and pouncing and steering. So what we understand here, most of the animals are lived on land only. And with the help of their four legs, they can move from one place to another place, and they can perform different activities like walking, leaping, jumping, climbing, etc. and etc. Next, Cows, goats, sheep, elephants, donkeys, horses, tigers, lions, wolves, bears, camels, etc. live on land or the surface of the earth. So you can also say these are the examples we have of the terrestrial animals. Now, cows, goats, sheep, and donkeys have hooves and stout legs. Horses gallop or run, their long thin lower legs give the horse a long stride. The front legs carry most of the horse weight. So what we understand here that terrestrial plants have four legs, we already discussed. But the type of legs is differ to each other because they're performing different function. As we talk about cow, goat and sheep, they do not need to move faster, but a horse have to need for but a horse need to move faster. That is why the leg shape is gallop for running, okay, and the long thin hair is focusedly manage the uh, mainly the whole weight is managed by the front legs, carry most of the horse weight. Next we have elephants have pillar like legs because if they have broad area so they can manage their weight, if we have short area so they cannot manage their weight, right? So elephants have pillar like legs, their toes are covered with pads of skin like cushion to balance the heavy weight. Next, tigers, lion, cats, dogs and wolves can move noiselessly as their feet are provided with a soft pad underneath. For example, this is the, so what we understand here that this is the pad of the tiger, cat, dog. So they have a pad, they have a cushion like structure. With this cushion like structure, they can move from one place to another place without any kind of noise. Next, giraffes and deer have long slender legs. They can run very fast. So they also have long slender legs, so they can move and they can run very fast. Okay. Now rabbits and hares have short front legs and long and strong hind legs. They can leap, run or walk because they have to move. They jump now, so that is why they have thin and hind limbs are longer as compared to front legs. Reptiles like lizards, garden lizards, chameleons and most snakes are terrestrial animals. Reptiles except snakes have two pairs of short weak legs that cannot support their body weight and they help them to crawl with a belly on the ground. So what we see here that reptiles except snake they have legs, okay, so they can crawl on the ground except snakes because except is move with the help of the surface area on the ground. Now snakes do not have legs at all as we see him, okay, they have broad plates on the lower side of the body. The plates help them to grip rough surfaces. The curved ribs and muscles of the body helps the snake to crawl. So with the help of the strong muscular body inside, below, at the stomach part, they can crawl themselves and move from one place to another place. Next, animals of the desert. Now we are going to learn about the animals who live in the desert area. Animals in the desert have developed specialized body parts and ways of life that enable them to survive that enable them to survive in the extreme heat. So they can survive in extreme heat, extreme cold because they have that kind of features. Common animals found in desert regions are camels, kangaroo, rats, snakes, scorpions, centipedes, lizard, tortoise, etc. So these are the examples we have for the desert animals. Your snake, your rats, your scorpions. Okay. Next, we move forward. Adaptive features of camel. The camel is known as the ship of the desert. The following adaptation shows that the camel is especially suited to live in desert. So what are the things a camel have? So they can live in a desert. So two rows of long eyelashes to protect against the blowing sand and sun. So they have a big eyelashes. With the help of that, they can protect themselves with the blowing sand. Nostrils can be closed to keep out the blowing sand. Thick fur and wool provide warmth during the cold desert night and insulation against daytime heat. Thick skin that prevents the loss of water through perspiration or evaporation. Special pouches where water is stored so that a camel can go for many days without water. So they have special pouches as well where they can save their water for movement for a long duration journey. Now, fat stored in the hump help it to survive long periods without food and water. So they have a hump. With the help of this, they can store their food and water inside that, and for a very long time they do not need food and water. Long and strong legs to help carry heavy loads over long distance and keep its body away from the hot sand. Thick leathery patches on knees to protect it from getting burnt when it kneels on the hot desert sand, broad, flat, leathery pads at the bottom of their hooves that prevent them from sinking in the sand. So what we observe here, that they also have a cushiony pad. With the help of this, they can move they can move in desert from place to another place. And also they have thick leathery patches on knees which help them to protect camel basically from the hotness of the sand of the desert. Now we move forward. Animals of the polar region. So polar region animals basically coldness. Okay, so polar animals that live in polar region must withstand extreme cold temperature. Polar animals include polar bears, musk oxen, reindeer, snow owls, and wolves. These are the examples we have for the polar region animals. Next, animals that live in polar region have developed bodies and ways of life, okay, that enable them to deal with the frigid winter weather. So what we understand here, that the animal who have a different according to their habitation, they have those kind of features so they can live in the extreme difficult climate changes. For example, if we are talking about the camel live in the desert where there is very little amount of water, where the temperature in daytime is very high, in night time is very low. So he can handle themselves, he can handle those kind of climate changes. Similarly, our polar region who faces coldness of the polar region is have those features, so they can survive freely according to that climate changes. Now, these are the examples we have. More examples we have for the polar region animals: snow owls, reindeer, wolves, and musk oxen. Now, adaptive features of polar bears. So what are the adaptive features of polar bears? We have the polar bear is adapted to life in the extreme cold in the following ways. It has very thick fur to keep it warm on the land in the icy water. So if you see polar bear, so they have a good amount of fur on his skin. So with the help of this fur, they can make themselves warm. It has long hair between the pads on its feet. This helps it to keep warm and to walk on the ice. So what we understand here, they have hairs. So with this they can move from one place to another place. On that they can move on ice as well, and they can make himself warm as well. It is longer than other bears and its body is streamlined for swimming. They can also swim with because their body is streamed. It has stiff hair on its front legs and very broad front feet to help it swim. So they have a very broad, not small, they have broad feet. With the help of this, they can walk on ice, they can swim easily. Now there are five very sharp claws on each foot of grasping the ice and its prey. So with the help of this, the sharping foot, they can grasp their prey and they can easily move and walk on ice. It is grayish white to help him camouflage against the ice and seen. It helps to camouflage against the ice and snow. Penguins are found in cold regions. They are able to adapt themselves to the cold climate. They have a feather coat that protects their bodies from cold, wind, and water. So they have now we discuss about the penguins. So penguins also have these features, though they can survive in this cold climate, and they also have feather coat so they can make their bodies warm. The coat covers their bodies right down to the legs. There is a layer of fat under the feather coat to keep them warm. So basically the polar region animals need warmth because in polar region very coldness. Okay, so with the help of hairs, they can protect themselves and also feel warmth, also get the warmness inside their body. Now, burrowing animals. What we understand by burrowing animals? Animals that dig into burrows for shelter and food are called burrowing animals. So basically they are digging inside the soil. Or forestal animals. Some common burrowing animals are earthworm, moles, badgers. They have the following adaptations. So now we are discuss about their adaptations. What are the adaptations they have? Spindle-shaped body offer little resistance while going in and out of the burrow. So they have a spindle-like body. So they can easily get in and out. Next, small tapering head with snout for burrowing. So they have snail tapering word. So with this they can easily burrowing himself inside the soil or inside the hole. Eyesight is reduced as it is of no use in the dark. So in dark there is no use of light because we can see anything with the reflection of sunlight. Inside the soil, we do not have sunlight, so they're not even able to see something. External ears tend to disappear as there might be an obstruction in boring. So the external ears are not there in earthworms and burrowing animals. Basically, the ears sit inside the body. Short and stout lumps with strong claws for digging. They hibernate during the winters. Hibernate means they are just disappear in winter for a winter duration time. How many long we have winters? So they just disappear themselves and just settle down in their burrows. Now, hibernation is a long winter sleep. During winter, some animals sleep in burrows or caves. Their body temperature drops, their heart beats slower, and they breathe slower too. They get energy from fast stored in their fat. They get energy from fat stored in their bodies before winter. These animals get up from their sleep in early spring. So what we understand here, hibernation is basically a winter sleep. During winter, some of the animals get inside their caves and burrows and take a long sleep because because their body temperature gets lower, they cannot breathe properly, and heart beats also get slower. Before starting the spring season, they just wake up. Next, we have aquatic animals. Animals that live in water. ये ना मैंने adaptive features of camels नहीं बताया है, तो मैं यहाँ बता देती हूँ. लास्ट में बताऊंगी तो एडिट करने में मुझे लगता है प्रॉब्लम. चलो लास्ट में ही बता दूंगी, ठीक है. यहाँ से कर लेती हूँ. Now we are going to discuss about the aquatic animals. As the name suggests, aquatic, it means the animals who live inside the water. Animals that live in water are called aquatic animals. Fish, turtles, crocodiles, seals, and whales are some common examples of aquatic animals. So we have these examples of aquatic animals. Some insects and birds are also aquatic animals. Fish live permanently in water. Water animals are well adapted to live in water. So we already understand this, that each and every animal have features according to their adaptation, according to their habitat. Okay, so now we are going to discuss about the adaptive features of fish. Okay, what are the features we have for the fish? So fish can live inside the water. So streamlined body helps the fish to move smoothly and quickly in water. So the streamlined body, it's easily help them to move from one place to another place inside the water. Next, scales on the body do not allow water to stick to the body surface. So the scales will help fish. So the body scales on the body will help fish that water could not stick on their body surface. Now fins, we already discussed about the function of the fins, that with the help of fins they can move from one place to another place. They can easily swim. They can easily swim with the help of fins. So fins help the fish in swimming, maintaining the balance, and changing the direction in water. Next, gills. So fish do not have nose. With the help of gills, fish do not have lungs. Okay, ठीक है. So fish do not have lungs. So with the help of gills are what they do. So gills are adapted to take in the oxygen and dissolve in water. So with the help of gills, oxygen get dissolved in the water. So gills are adapted to take in the oxygen dissolved in water. As we all know that fish do not have lungs. With the help of gills, they can take inside oxygen. Okay. Next, air bladder helps float on the surface of water. With the help of air bladder, they can easily swim on the surface of the water as well. Now we are going to discuss about some other adaptive features of aquatic animals. First, smooth, almost flawless body helps aquatic animals move through the water with the little friction, because their body is very smooth. So they can easily from one place to another place inside the water, and they face very little friction just because of their smoothness of their body. Next, dense waterproof feathers keep cold water away from the bird's skin and prevent wetting of the feathers. So this dense waterproof feathers help them to take water away from them. Now webbed feet work like pedals. So with their webbed feet, they work like paddles and they can move, and this will help them to swim inside the water. Strainers in the mouth, as in ducks, so filter food particles from water. Flippers provide a large surface for pushing against water and acts as paddle. So this flippers. Dolphins and whales especially have flippers. So these flippers, what they do, they push the water backside, and they can use the flippers as well as the paddles, and they easily swim inside the water. Next, eyes positioned on the top of the head. Nostrils close when the animals goes underwater. Seals, sea lions, and walruses are those animals who just close their nostrils when they go inside the water. Transparent eyelids cover the eyes of the animals swimming underwater, because if they close their eyes, they need protection for their eyes so they can see inside the water as well. So they have transparent eyelids. Next, flattened tail serves as paddles. One more thing which acts like the paddles is their flattened tails. Now, crocodiles, dolphins, and whales breathe through the lungs. They come to the surface of water to take air. So those aquatic animals who has lungs, so they can also take air. They can also take oxygen, get outside from the water. But some of the animals could not take air by could not get air outside of the water. For example, your fish. Okay. Next, we have amphibious animals. So animals that spend their lives partially in water and partially on land are called amphibians. Amphibians include frogs, toads, and salamanders. So those animals who can live inside the water and also live on the land, these is referred as your amphibians. And the examples we have frogs, toads, and salamanders. These are the examples we have. Okay. Now amphibians have limbs that are suited for swimming in water. When in water, they breathe through the moist skin, and when on land, they breathe through the lungs. So they have both the moist skin as well as the lungs. So if they have lungs, so they can breathe on land, or if they have moist skin, so they can also breathe inside the water. That will make them to live on both the area. When frogs have web feet like this, Palawa, okay, web feet, so they can easily swim inside the water and jump outside of the water. During unfavorable seasons, winters, they hibernate, go underground for winter sleep. So they also go underground for their winter sleep. Next, we have aerial animals. As the name suggests, the animals are spend most of their time in air. So animals that fly in the air are called aerial animals, and we have birds. The examples we have the exam the examples we have. Arey yaar. So the examples we have birds, bats, and insects are some common examples of aerial animals. Now, what are the adaptive features of birds? Boat or spindle shaped body helps the bird to float easily in air. So they have a boat like structure. So with the help of this boat like structure, they can easily balance themselves in the air. Next, for limbs are modified into wings. They do not have limbs. They have, instead of limbs, they have wings. So body is covered with feathers. They provide insulation, thereby preventing the loss of heat, and help maintain a constant body temperature. Hollow bones make their body light. Well-developed flight muscles attached to the bones move the wings up and down. The tail feather help the bird to change its direction during flight. So what we understand here, that birds are light in weight. They have feathers who manage their temperature of the body, and their bones are hollow, and that is why they are very light in weight, so they can easily fly in the air. So one of the most important thing, with the help of their tail, they can change their direction in the air. They can move right, they can move left. Okay, so with the help of their tail, they can do this. Next, we have arboreal animals. Arboreal animals live on trees or climb on rocks and walls are called arboreal animals. Common examples are squirrels, chameleons, tree frogs, and monkeys. The main adaptations are the limb girdles are very stout, giving support to the body in climbing. Very well developed claws help in grasping and climbing. The presence of parencytal tail. So what we understand here, that they have limb, and with the help girdles they can jump from one tree to another tree, and they have a good support when they jump. Next, well developed claws helping in grasping and climbing. So this well developed claws also help them to support, to catch, to grasp the branch of another tree. And one of the things they have are, they have perihensile tail, which help them to which help them to jumping as well. Next, we have adaptations for protection. Animals that are hunted for food have to protect themselves from their predators, otherwise they will die and become extinct very soon. Extinct means disappear. All animals have to protect themselves from the weather, heat, cold, and run. Different animals have different ways of protecting themselves. So we need protection. We use. They have also adaptations for their protection as well. Adaptation basically the features they are using for their according to their habitat for their protection. So animals are hunted by the other animals, so they need something to protect themselves, and the features we have: protective body covering. Insects, prawns, crabs, centipedes, and millipedes have a hard outer covering to protect themselves. As you seen in cartoons, that turtle when feels say some dangerous thing is coming in front of him, so what they do, just take their head, legs, and hand inside the hard covering of it. So it basically they can protect themselves with this hard covering of their skin. Next, we have fish and reptiles have scales. So as you see in this picture, the scales will help them to fish to protect against their enemies. The snails has a soft body protected by a hard shell. So as the same turtle have their outer covering store, as the snail also have the same outer covering, the turtle and the tortoise withdraw into their shells when they are in danger. Okay, now moving away from danger. So some of the animals have a very good capabilities to move faster, so they can get away from the danger from their animals. For example, some animals move away from danger quickly. The housefly quickly senses danger and flies away. Many animals escape from their enemies by running or flying away. Deer and gazelle can easily run away with their strong legs and escape danger. So each and every animal have their protection adaptation. So with the help of this, as fly as fly can move very fast, they can catch the, they can sense the danger, and they can very, as the fly can quickly senses the danger and fly away, same deer can run very quickly. So these are the features they have to protect themselves. Next, living in the ground. Some animals live inside the ground to escape danger. Moles and earthworms burrow inside into the ground to escape from their enemies, so they can protect themselves. That is why they have this kind of habitat. With the with having habitat like this inside the ground, they can protect themselves. And the examples we have who can protect themselves by living inside the soil, these are moles and earthworms. Next, we have blending with their surroundings. So according to their surroundings, they can blend themselves. Okay, so caterpillars and grasshoppers are green. They blend with green leaves on which they live, so their predators cannot see them easily. So what they do, caterpillars and grasshoppers, they change their color of the body. So the habitat and the color of the body is same, so the predator cannot classify among who is this, the habitat, uh, who is the prey, and they can simply protect themselves. The chameleon changes its color to match its surrounding. The leaf insect has the same shape and color as the leaves on which it feeds. It is hard to identify the stick insect sitting on the twig. Zebras, exactly. Zebras, Arctic foals, polar bears, frogs, chameleons, etc. can trick their enemies because their body color easily blend with the surrounding. So how they can protect themselves? By blending according to the surroundings. If they're living on a leaf, they can change their color according to the leaf color. They can change their shape according to the leaf care. Or the other animals we have, they can hide themselves in such a way that their predator cannot classify who is the zebra, who is the polar bear among the how they trick them. Okay. Next, we have sharp claws. Sharp claws, lions, tigers, and eagles have sharp claws. They use these sharp claws to maul their animals. With the help of their sharp claws, they can fight with their enemies. Now, spines. Porcupines have sharp spines. These sharp spines are like needles. They can pierce the skin of an attacker and cause great pain. So, as you've seen, porcupine, they have more spines. If somebody tries to touch it, so they can use these spines against their enemies. Next, we have poisonous animals. How animals protect themselves? They also have poisonous. So wasp, catfish, scorpions, etc. protect themselves by having painful and poisonous stings. Snakes are feared because many of them are poisonous: cobra, crate, viper, sea snake, etc. So with the help of a painful and poisonous sting, these animals can protect themselves from their predators. So students, this is the end of your chapter. I hope so you like this chapter. Now I'm going to meet you in your next class. Till that, bye bye. Have a good day.